Find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Modern world. Europeans. Built the modern world.
European?
We invented science and industry. We invented science and industry, and you want to tell us to stop because, oh my God, we're so bad. We built the modern world. We built the modern world. Europeans. Built the modern world. We invented science and industry. We invented science and industry, and you want to tell us to stop because, oh my God, we're so bad. We invented the modern world.
I feel you. You're so dumb.
We invented the modern world.
You fucking degenerate.
We saved billions of people from starvation.
Are you joking me?
We built modern civilization.
Contract that the elites had worked desperately to create for the last half century. The same thing's happening here. I mean, the reason the left hates Trump, and I think he is the most attacked president since Abraham Lincoln, and the reason is, much like Lincoln, he represents a fundamental breakdown in the old order and a willingness to do new things in new ways. And they, as you saw with the FBI report I listened to you earlier, they literally hate him. Well, what Theresa May tried to do is she tried to cleverly straddle the fence, and the guy made the point, you have a choice between chaos and order, and by 2-1 they said they preferred chaos because they repudiate the order of the old left and refuse to be governed by it.
Well, Newt Gingrich, this is a stunning development today in Britain. You're seeing this all across the European continent. Big election, big votes in Sweden. The immigration issue, huge there. But will the elites and all these governments reject the will of the people and what they really want? We're seeing it play out right here in the United States. Newt Gingrich, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much. And coming up, Democrats embarrassing themselves to show their authenticity. Trump's fast food fallout. And another Democrat will announce his intentions to run on late-night TV tonight, or hers? Special Tuesday edition of Seen and Unseen with Raymond Arroyo up next. It's time for our Seen and Unseen segment where we expose the big cultural stories of the day. Democrats are going to extreme lengths to prove their authenticity. They always have to do this. My truth. While the president is grilled over fast food. Joining us now with all the details, Raymond Arroyo, Fox News contributor and New York Times bestselling author of the upcoming phenomenal book, Will Wilder, The Amulet of Power. Raymond, we have seen a string of Democrats recent days. They're popping brews, getting dental work done on camera to show how normal they are.
Yeah, well, and there's a new contestant in the authenticity contest. It's California Senator Kamala Harris. She took to Stephen Colbert's YouTube channel, and Colbert is now being apparently a rite of passage for these Democratic candidates, and they're trying to show, and she is, how down she is with the music scene. Wow.
Awesome.
Hey, it's Kamala Harris, and this is my Mood Mix, a song that has always made me dance. Check the rhyme, A Tribe Called Quest. You know I'm talking about Fife. A song that has to be played loud because you have to hear the bass. The Sun is Shining by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Right? The sun is shining and the...
Laura, what do I always say? If you can't sing, don't do it in public. This is always a bad idea. I mean, here you have poor Elizabeth Warren trying to pass herself off as a barmaid in Iowa saloon.
Her husband looks bored.
You've got Kamala Harris trying to be a DJ. None of this is working out.
She has a nice laugh.
Well, contrast all of this with the president who hosted the Clemson championship team at the White House last night. Now, he set up a White House dining room with a bounty of fast food, which he personally paid for owing to the shutdown.
Big spender.
It looked like he was announcing a new burger franchise at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Watch.
We have pizzas, we have 300 hamburgers, many French fries. We're all of our favorite foods. I want to see what's here when we leave, because I don't think it's going to be much.
Now, the point to draw from this is, look how effortlessly he's like with the people. He's not only come with the Big Mac and the Wendy props, but he speaks the language of the people.
Food.
No, but the food himself, it reinforces. He doesn't have to strain. He's not doing anything outside of his comfort zone, and therefore he looks more comfortable in his own skin. And that's the lesson that the Democrats could really take from him.
Remember of the Obama diaries?
Yes.
Michelle and those diaries.
Yes.
Michelle Obama's always talking about, like, she loves French fries, but she don't want to eat French fries. It was always this push and pull with the food and the not. But Trump's like, this is the food I eat. Like, it's pretty good.
There was a side comment, Laura, about salads that really got some in the media.
Ooh, they're always upset.
I had a choice. Do we have no food for you? Because we have a shutdown. Or do we give you some little quick salads that the First Lady will make along with the Second Lady? They'll make some salads. And I said, you guys aren't into salads.
It's incredibly sexist. We aren't all here to make salads for men.
This is one of those things where sometimes what people say when they're being funny exposes exactly who they are and what they think.
Well, they're saying that this was sexist. Now, I don't think this is any more sexist than Mrs. Warren asking her husband to grab her a brew. I mean,
I didn't like how she hit her husband on the behind. Wasn't that? That was like abuse. No, I'm joking. It wasn't.
No, by the way, Laura, the Clemson players love the White House spread. Hunter Renfrow, a wide receiver on the team, said this.
Okay.
We get to tell our kids that we ate Big Macs and a Whopper in the White House, and that's something you can tell everyone forever. I loved it. Well, I think that was the general reaction. By the way, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, this is breaking tonight, is also getting into the authenticity parade. She made an important announcement to Colbert.
Ooh.
Do you have anything you would like to announce?
Yes.
And what would that be, madam?
I'm filing an exploratory committee for President of the United States tonight.
That coy, coquettish thing with holding his hands and let me, I don't know how that plays. What you need is a credible, if you're going to run against Donald Trump, run as a credible statesman who can take back the narrative, right?
I like the fact they're doing it on Colbert because it's all a joke. It's all kind of a joke, but she's running. Old de Blasio was kind of toying around with the idea of his State of the City
Joe
speech.
Biden.
Cuomo was kind of doing his big rebrand of I Love New York, and it's like New York State's not for hate today. So they're all kind of getting into the authenticity thing. But the most authentic person out there was Trump with the Big Macs.
Well,
sorry, I loved
his
it.
timing, he's got that comic timing. It's hard to beat. He's comfortable in his skin.
All right, we lost a legend.
We did. We lost a Broadway legend. Carol Channing died at 97 years old. And Laura, I saw her many times live. This is a woman. She, of course, became Dolly Levi for generations of Americans. 1964, the first production of this. She did 2 more revivals. I saw those 2 revivals. Almost 6,000 performances, live performances of this role. An incredible legend. And I was thinking today, there was another first. She was the first performer to sing at a halftime Super Bowl show in 1970. There it is in New Orleans.
Okay.
And today is Drew Brees' birthday. Now, that must mean something, Laura Ingraham. Who dat?
We can't get through a show without Arroyo mentioning New Orleans or the Saints.
I got to stand with
my kids are even are Who Dat
the
fans.
Who Dat Nation is on the move.
But is Broadway dim tonight for Carol Channing?
Tomorrow night they will dim the lights.
They better be. She was unbelievable talent and a really fun person.
Incredible
had a great
timing,
sense of humor.
Kept it fresh. What a performance.
There ain't many like her or none like her. Angela Lansbury is the last
one.
of those.
Yeah, that legend.
All right. Well, coming up, what happens when a racially obsessed commentator tells a conservative person of color to check his white privilege? Huh, that's tricky. Here to tell us next.
White people were calling police on black people for falling asleep in dorms, for barbecuing in the park, for playing golf too slow. You all need to fall back and reassess your life and stop with the white privilege.
When you just played that clip of Senator Hatch, my thought was, wow, male white privilege does not dull with age, does it?
We are still dealing in a nation where white privilege is a reality.
Well, the obsession from the left over ascribing every slight to white privilege has led to some pretty ugly accusations, but perhaps none as embarrassing as this following exchange that took place on the radio earlier today.
I never considered my color the issue. I considered my qualifications the issue.
Well, David, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege. This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay, then I stand.
See, you went to white privilege. This is the falsehood in this.
All right, that tells us a lot about the dangerous and reactionary impulses on the left. They always got to go to the race issue. Here now, the man on the other side of that accusation, David Webb, Fox News contributor, host of Fox Nation's Reality Check, and Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright. We were talking football during break. We got to move now to another issue.
Agree on football.
Yeah, we agree on a lot of football. But she went in the mix-up on getting bad information. I kind of felt bad for her. I mean, I think everything on the white privilege stuff is way overplayed, but people make mistakes on air. She didn't know. I mean, that was her default thing to go to. But I'm getting soft. I felt
you're going a little soft, but
I'm going soft. Antoine's going to what show am I on? Antoine's like, I'm leaving the set now.
Yeah, well, this was about 12 minutes into an interview where, to be fair, we had a fair exchange, differing ideas on a number of topics, the legal profession, which you know well, and other things. But when we went down that path about qualifications in media, and I explained my background to her, starting in rock radio, working through different formats, I talked about qualifications the way I was taught. It's the ease of which she went to white privilege. Forget for a moment that she wasn't prepped. Forget for the moment that she threw her team under the bus in her apology by throwing her team in there. And then she goes so easily to you're white, the assumption you're talking to someone on the Patriot channel, conservative channel. They must be a white is the only thing I can come up with. But the dodge, we can't excuse it, Laura. It is actually reprehensible. And I told her, I said,
I think it's racist. I mean, I think it's racist to refer to someone's color of skin instead of arguing the point. Argue the point.
When I was at Oxford a couple of years ago,
just throw that in there.
We had this debate. You showed Al Sharpton, and I was supposed to debate. Well, I was supposed to debate Al Sharpton on the principle that, or the preposition that America is institutionally racist. You know what I did? I said our skin is an organ. It does not think. It does not formulate ideas. It's the result of our parentage. That's it.
All right, Antoine.
I'm sorry it happened to you, but we cannot ignore the fact that, yes, white privilege exists in our country, just as racism and prejudice and all the things. I'm sorry that happened to you. But at the end of the day, I think you and I both have a responsibility to call balls and strikes when these things happen. Again, I'm sorry it happened to you, and we have to be careful. Those of us who want to use white privilege as some out. But to be fair, let me say
Finish your point. I have a quick question.
On the other side, there are a lot of people who will say Antoine Seawright is a race baiter, or that is my default because I disagree with them because I see things out of a different lens, and I think we all have to be careful how we do that.
See, I can debate that, but I asked her a question after that, and it was a really simple question. In a majority black country, say in Africa, those with privilege, are they exhibiting black privilege, applying the logic that's used by those who apply white privilege in this country? That's what makes it false. If you want to talk about economic situation, privileged classes versus non-privileged, that's different. But to ascribe it to the color of skin is the falsehood in this.
But also, it kind of it's a shorthand for things that may not be there. I mean, you could grow up as a middle-class white kid in a suburb of Hartford, Connecticut, where I did, or you can grow up as a really rich white kid in Greenwich and maybe have a totally different worldview. Maybe you agree on issues. You can grow up an African-American kid in a poor neighborhood or in a wealthier neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily mean that word privilege, which is a shorthand, I think, and I don't think it brings people closer together. I really don't.
When these things happen, it gives people an out. When we try to call out what is true racism, what is true privilege, it gives people out to say, you know what, that's not true. That's just your default.
How did she ascribe white privilege to me?
Because she didn't have an answer to she didn't have a substantive answer to the argument. I got to play something. Hold on, I got to play this NBC montage again about the issue of white privilege and how deep it is for some people. Let's watch.
I will always be a recovering racist. I believe that every white person has racism within them.
I have so much implicit bias. It makes me laugh and cry at the same time.
Oh, He makes me laugh and cry for another reason. Close it out real quick.
All right, real quick, I come from a multi-ethnic background that goes all over the world. My family never treated privilege with anything more than what you've earned. Privilege is earned in life, not an attack based on skin color.
Not here.
Our lives are the sum total of our experiences. We all have different experiences, and I think that's important to recognize that, but we have to call balls and strikes.
All right. I love the fact that you're both here tonight. Great to see you. Not in Washington.